was on the lookout for a puff of smoke from a smokestack, which is the first sign you get that they're on the move and that they're going to be heading straight for you. I've been extremely wary of these behemoths since the day I was caught in the middle of the channel just outside Moreton Bay. I was being warned on the VHF to get out of his way. We were desperately circling around the anchor trying to get it free. Then just as I went to grab the knife with the freighter bearing down on us, the anchor came free and we lurched forward. It never ceases to amaze me just how fast these things move. They seem to be standing still, but 1 minute they're miles away, just a dot on the horizon. Next thing you know, you feel like you're sitting right under their bow wave. On the morning of the second day, it's as if the universe hit the pause button. Not a breath of wind, not a ripple on the water, and oh boy, my reflection in the inky depths of Dark Hollow tells me the tale of a tired sailor recovering from a couple too many wines. In the distance, huge mounds of wood chips destined for overseas paper mills loom ominously. They look like sand dunes, and as you approach them they come into focus. Huge, steaming volcanoes made from eucalyptus chips. The deep grumbling of the chip plants went well into the evening the night before. Learning situational awareness when you're on the boat on your own and you're trying to film stuff. I haven't actually got an auto film. In the heart of Port Dalrymple, there's a modest yet significant island known as Middle Island. This wasn't just any piece of land, it served as a quarantine station in times long past. A mate of mine shared a family tale about his grandfather, the state vet responsible for ensuring the safe arrival of animals and livestock into Tasmania. Now this island holds echoes of its quarantine history, with remnants of the original station quietly weathering the years. I tried to get ashore, to explore those relics, but my boat's draft, which is a mere 2 feet, held me back. I was frustrated, especially when I discovered later that there's a deep water landing at the other end of the beach. The Waiuna, now seemingly laid up, has a storied past. Acquired by the Australian Maritime College in 1979, it served as a vital training vessel. It's nice to be in a bit of a maintenance cycle now with Sarah Ann after months and months of fairly rigorous restoration work. So things that are starting to come to the surface now that perhaps I didn't do as well as I could have, or that I might have rushed, or that I haven't quite completed yet, are now starting to hit the radar. I'm in the middle of doing a series of cruising adventures on the Tamar River in Tasmania, not the Tamar River in Cornwall, although I am told that there are some similarities. So now I've been out there pounding around on the decks, I'm finding that the canvas deck that I painted is starting to show some stress cracks. I spread some flexible epoxy over the surface, sanded it back, and then I painted it with Interdeck slip resistant deck paint, which is a terps based paint and is inherently quite flexible. However, I'm finding that with the flex that's in the deck, that particular Epotech is a brittle product. In order to make it possible to work on the deck is to get this mast up out of the way, and I use this pulley system to haul it up. I leave the stays attached. If they get in the way, I can always disconnect them as well. I've decided to take these cleats off because they sort of intrude into the cockpit space quite a bit. So John had a real fascination with teak and stainless steel fittings, and they're quite a beautiful thing, so I certainly want to be able to reuse them. I'm also considering removing these pad eyes, which is where the main sheet attaches currently into triangular configuration. I'm thinking about replacing it with a bronze bar traveller across this way. If I can clear this, that should be okay, and also clear this as it pivots up. And why am I doing that? Because I'm using a double block with a cam cleat on it, and it needs to sit on the bottom. Better if it travelled across, and then you can restrain it if you need to. It's interesting to see the history of this deck covering, which is canvas over timber, and it's very interesting to see the layering and the history of it. So the canvas was laid over Kingbilly pine deck. It wasn't glued down. The Kingbilly pine deck was primed with red lead, and then some kind of an undercoat put down there, and then the canvas, I think, has been just laid into wet paint. That in itself would have been quite a good system because it's quite flexible. Well, I'm going to fill and fair this little repair here. After a year of clambering around in there, even though I did initially repair the paint to make it serviceable, it's looking extremely tight. So it's wipe it down, mask it up, and paint it. There's been a lot of diesel about, there's been a lot of grease about. I'm repositioning these cleats that John originally fixed right here, which were the main sheet cleats, and I'm going to reposition them over here because I'm no longer using them for the main sheet, but I will use them for mooring. That's the most comfortable steering position on the boat. I'm in between trips, and don't you know that in between trips there's always plenty to do. So now I'm packed and prepared and ready to head off on my next adventure. I'm heading to a place which is deeply linked into Sarah Ann's history, and it's one of my favourite cruising locations. I can't wait to show it to you.